Welcome to September's Confident English Spotlight. For those of you who are joining me for the first time or you've only been following me with Speak Confident English for a few weeks, every month during the year 2018, I'm interviewing someone in the Confident English community. And it's my opportunity to shine a spotlight on women who are doing really cool things all over the world. Maybe they've overcome big challenges, they're doing well in their job, they're doing something interesting and they're volunteering. And this month, for the month of September, I'm interviewing Aide. And Aide, let's get started with the first question. I want you to tell us a little bit about where you're from and something that you really love about your city or country.
Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you, Annemarie, for this opportunity to share a little bit of myself with the Fluency community. So I am originally from Ecuador. I grew up in the coastal region of Ecuador. So I come from the hottest part of our country. So I live like very close to one of the biggest cities in our country, Guayaquil. So there's a very big city, a lot of business happening around there. So I live 45 minutes outside it, and what I love about my community, especially my neighborhood, is the sense of community that where I grew up. I think I think it was very, for me, I was always around my neighbors. I think sometimes I even call them my second mom, my second pop, because we were so connected, we were so close that, those relationships were there. And I think sometimes I didn't even realize how connected I was with them.
Right. All right. Well, that's a really great way for me to introduce the next question, because a couple of years ago you moved to the United States. And I'm curious what that process was like for you, but I imagine you really miss that community back home, or do you feel like you found that community in the United States as well?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question because I moved here 2 years ago, and I don't want to say that I've been having it of course was so hard at the beginning, especially when I was trying to meet new people, connect with new people, build new relationships in a second language, and like in another language was completely hard. And even though I was like in my late 20s, I was like, what's wrong with me? I'm like adult. Why is it so hard to do it? It's been hard. I don't want to say that I found a same community, because it's not possible. I think we are unique individuals, unique human beings, and you can find something that is similar, or you can find a different way to live a community or to be part of a community. And I think that's what I found, or that's what I've been able to have here where I'm right now.
Awesome. So what is one thing that really surprised you about life in the United States, or something that might have been unexpected?
Yeah, I I grew up in, I'm gonna say, like in, not in a wealthy environment, like in a wealthy neighborhood. Is actually one of the lowest. It's a local environment, like neighborhood. And but my family always prioritized like food, education, health. It was always the most important things that we can have, especially food, especially healthy food. So when I came here to the United States, at least in where I live, I found it very interesting that people who have more resources can go and buy organic products. And if you don't have enough, you usually go to the grocery, like those shopping, like grocery stores. And for me, that was shocking, because I was like, I want to have my fresh organic eggs, or like fruit or vegetables, and I cannot afford that because I am a college student. And I miss a lot of that. Was completely new for me, and I had to adjust to that. But yeah, it's being experienced, like with lows and highs, and with so many different cultures, backgrounds, but it's been great so far. I think I've learned a lot, and the most important part is like I've grown in so many ways that I think I in many ways that I think I didn't expect it.
Yeah. Can you identify one way that you think you've really grown that you didn't anticipate?
I think the fact that I can actually do this, the fact that I can be in another like country, place, a new setting, a new language, and I can still do my best and be my best and share who I am with whoever is around me. And sometimes I in Ecuador it was sometimes really hard to recognize that because you are in your comfort zone. You are with your people, with your friends, with your family. The places are the same, and you love that.
Yeah.
And I was so happy to be there with my community and my friends. But when you move away, when you move to a different place, I mean, at least for me, I start having a lot of questions, like a lot of insecurities. Like
Hmm.
it's very interesting how the psychological part plays here. Like it has a big role in how someone is experiencing new, is having new experiences,
Hmm.
and I think I had that. And but at the end of the day, when I look back, I'm like, I'm doing it, and I'm
Yeah.
here, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm letting people enjoy myself as well. So I think that's very it gives you a very uh, nice feeling in a way.
Absolutely. I think you're like you, I've lived in other countries and it definitely tests your character and
Hmm.
it tests who you are and challenges you. And hopefully, the way that you've experienced, you get to the other side of that and think, I did it. And I'm proud of what I've accomplished. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of who I am here in this new place. But it
Hmm.
is hard to do that, definitely. So you mentioned briefly that you're a college student. Tell us a little bit
Yes.
about what you're doing now in the United States.
So I am getting my master's in leadership studies.
Mhm.
I I did my undergraduate background is in sociology.
Mhm.
I had my degree in Ecuador, and yeah, so I came here to the United States to continue with my education. And it's been a good experience. It's been challenging as well because
Mhm.
sometimes you think, oh, I can communicate in English good enough to
Mhm.
start a conversation, but then the other big question is, can I create an academic paper for a class? So there was another whole, you know, challenge there. But I've done it, and I think there is always room for improvement. And I
Mhm.
think it never ends. Like education, it, and even you growing as a person, as a human
Mhm.
being, is always happening. Like change is constant. It's always happening in someone's life.
That's true. What's next for you? Because you're in your last semester for your
Hmm.
master's degree. So, what happens next?
So that's the big question mark there.
The $1 million question.
Yeah, exactly. Like as I said before, I had a great experience here. I sometimes I think I'm like, and I'm ready to leave this place. Like, am I ready to say goodbye to my new friendships, to my relationships here, to my students, to the people who I work with? I'm ready to go back and restart again.
Mhm.
Um, but one of the things that I'm, I know for sure is like I definitely would like to back to Ecuador at one point. I have thought about becoming a professor in a university level, like a
Mhm.
higher education. But I'm not sure if my next step is to keep pushing here and trying to find those programs and take all the steps that I need to stay here and continue my studies here in the United States, or I would like to go back to Ecuador and from there to see what is available there.
Mhm.
I really focus on my area of interest is development and communities,
Mhm.
and that's my passion, and I am glad that coming here to the United States, I was able to work in an office that actually works in those areas with the students. So that was very, I think that was the most important thing during this transition in my experience here, that I was able to connect with people who was working in those areas that where I'm interested.
Right.
So I have another option. I could stay and work for a year to get some experience training, and then go back. But in the long term and the big picture, I don't see myself as staying here. But
Mhm.
I see myself going back to Ecuador or exploring other countries and learning more about how people are coming together and finding solutions to promote social change,
Right.
whatever is the reality. So,
Yeah, I love that. Do you have one social issue or area that you're most passionate about? Is there a community that you want to work with the most?
uh, I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up in a low income family and low income community, and I've seen how sometimes government organizations in general see the problems as like present solutions to a problem that comes from someone else
Mhm.
idea, someone else vision. And this is changing. Like, this is more how things used to be done in the past, and now organization, governments are understanding that this is not the way that we need to address our problems and our different situations. But I really, I mean, my main focus is to work with communities at
Mhm.
risk and see how we can empower the members of a community. And that's
Mhm.
what I would like to do. I would like to be able to go to and to teach in a university, because I would like to see how the academia can connect with a community, and how
Mhm.
students can learn since early in their programs to be those who facilitate the process
Mhm.
and empower others too. Because
Mhm.
this, for me and from my perspective, is very unrealistic to think like we are going to solve a lot of our problems. Just a
Mhm.
group of people will do it. We got to find a different way to do it.
Right, right,
So,
right. That's
not,
exciting. I'm excited
yeah,
to see what you do and what you discover and how you empower others along the way. That'll be really
yeah.
cool to see. So, you've moved to the United States. You've been here for 2 years, and
Hmm.
you've certainly had to work on overcoming some challenges in English, developing your fluency skills and your confidence. What do you think was most helpful for you in that process so that you could do something like you're doing today? I know that you've done presentations and
Yeah.
your work. You're doing this interview today for the public, and those things are really challenging. A lot of people think they couldn't do it. So, what has been really important for you to overcome those challenges?
Um, I mean, honestly, it was fluency community. Like,
Awesome.
yeah, I can clearly say there is like before and after.
Mm-hmm.
Like, before fluency community, I was
You mean
feeling like
the fluency school?
the fluency school, before
Mhm.
getting to know to you, to meet
Yeah,
you, to
yeah.
have you as a professor, to have this English course. um, yeah, it was definitely I can say, like, I noticed that, because before the classes, the course, uh, I was feeling like I couldn't do it. Like I
Mm,
didn't have a community that support me. I didn't have other people who were experiencing what I was experiencing. Sometimes I thought that I was like so weak or so
mm,
I wasn't professional. I wasn't brave enough. Sometimes I was like,
mm,
uh, I couldn't relate to anyone. I couldn't like
mm,
process those other thoughts or feelings that I was having. And
mm,
even though people were saying like you are doing great, like this is, you know, you've come so far, like, you know, they were trying to be optimistic and they were trying to cheer me up, but
mhm,
it didn't really quite fit when I didn't find someone else to say, okay, like I see that you also have been there. Like now I can say, okay, if you've been there and now you are here at this point, feeling so much confident, I can be there as well. So
yeah,
I think having like a network, having a community, having those classes that are in a way um, like the approaches or is intended to be for people who English is not their first language. I
mhm,
think is key. It's very important. And
yeah,
it has been what helped me to feel better and to be more
yeah.
like empowered.
Yeah, I
Like
love that. I'm so excited to hear that. And I know for me, seeing you over the last, I don't know how long since your first fluency start
April,
course, it was April. So it's been
April, yeah,
about 6 months,
yeah,
and it's incredible
oh,
how much your language has changed, just your ability to communicate in a really clear, effective way, but then also seeing the confidence change as well
mm-hmm.
has been incredible. You are a different person, which is
Oh,
amazing. It's super
thanks.
cool. But I'm glad to hear that that was really helpful. And I think you're right. When you're feeling so stuck, and I loved your words, you were wondering, am I weak? Am I not brave enough? Is there something wrong with me? The
Mm-hmm.
truth is, there's nothing wrong with you, nothing at all. But you didn't have that system of support and
Mm-hmm.
that community of other people that have that shared experience and that can help you say, let's move together to the next step, which is
Yeah.
really helpful and essential. So my last question is, there will definitely be people who will watch this interview and think, there's no way I can do that in English. I'm too nervous. I'm too afraid. She can do it. Aide can do it, but I can't. What
Mm-hmm.
would you say to somebody who was feeling like that?
I think I will say, but first I will say it's totally okay to feel like that
Mm-hmm.
because those feelings are real, and
Mm-hmm.
it's you are feeling it. It's okay. What is not okay is to think that you cannot take a next step
Mm-hmm.
to change. And I think that's what you need to do. I think it's always like we are in this place, we are in this whole world to grow, and sometimes we fail, sometimes things don't go well, but we are brave enough to keep continuing our journeys and whatever we do and however we do. And it's always about working hard. It's always about commitment to what you want to. If English is something that you really, if something that you really care about, is something that you really want to improve or even learn, I think it's important just to,
Yeah.
take that risk, take that chance, and
Mm-hmm.
don't feel embarrassed about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a point to start, and it's never like to start. It's always about commitment.
Yeah, I love that. I think you're right. And I think that's been very true in your situation because, for example, in fluency school and even with advanced conversation now,
Mm-hmm.
it has been a lot of hard work. It has been a risk. It's been
Mm-hmm.
hard, but you've committed to it. You've done
Mm-hmm.
it. And I mean, the results are incredible. It's totally
Yes.
changed you. So that's exciting. I think that's really good advice. So thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think those are all my questions for today. So, Aide, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for doing this. And thank you for being really brave and courageous and sharing your ideas with us in English in this interview. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Annemarie. I really, really happy to be here and to share my story with all of you.